Pupils from 20 schools in the Inanda area north of Durban have staged a protest calling for the reintroduction of corporal punishment in schools. Can you believe that? Yeah, they argue that learners are out of control and have become violent. Mlungisi Khumalo filed this report.
We are in Indanda, west of Durban, where parents, learners, teachers, as well as members of the community have gathered here today. Now, one of the most interesting debates or sittings about today's gathering is that some of the parents, as well as the teachers, as well as members of the community, want corporal punishments to be brought back into our schools throughout the country. Now, one of their reasons is that they say that learners have now gotten out of hand. But I'm just going to talk to one of the parents who will tell us more as to why do they want corporal punishments to be brought back to our schools. Mhlonishwa, thank you very much for your time namhlanje. Kafushane nje umusibonisa indaba ukuthi nifuna izingane izishawe ezikoleni.
Isizathu esenza ukuthi sithi ingane sifisa ukuthi ingane zishawe esikoleni ngoba izingane ziphumile izingane esandleni, izingane azizwa, izingane zenza yonke into ingane ngoba zazi ukuthi sinamalungelo kakhulu. So njengamanje othisha bakwazi ukwenza lutho ngaphandle kwamalungelo lawo ezingane. Manje siyafisa ukuthi uhulumeni aphinda review kahle izinto zakhe lezi eziphathelene nemithetho ephathelene nezingane ukuthi angasilimazeli izingane ngoba naye ukhona nje usuka khona endukwini. Asazi ukuthi siphi lesi sizathu esenza ukuthi athi izingane mazingashawi izingane esikoleni uma sekuyi10 yalezi izingane manje ufuna ukuthi zikhule.
This is one of the parents, Mr. Magwaza. Basically, naturally, basically says that learners should be punished corporally because some of the learners have now been given too many rights at their schools. Let me now pose the same question to one of the learners as well. Thank you very much for your time. You as a learner think that corporal punishment should be brought back to school. Why?
Indeed, I feel corporal punishment has to come back simply because now as students we have a lot of freedom and we're misusing that freedom and it's evoking violence amongst our schools. So now teachers are no longer affected but the community as a whole, because now they know they get out of hand at school and they feel it's right because they're not being punished against it. So they go outside the school and they evoke it and they provoke harm amongst our community. So I feel like it's affecting our future as kids. How are we going to raise our own kids when we grow, and our own children? It's going to affect us in that way.
As a learner, do you think that you guys have been given too many rights and as a result you've gotten out of hand?
I believe so, because at this point I see a lot of violence evoking simply because they saying that they have rights. They say it straight up. They do not hide it towards our teachers that they have rights. So I feel that platform they have makes them think they're in power. So I feel like we have a lot of rights, so they have to be reduced amongst our schools.
Now, how do you feel about teachers who abuse their power, who beat children beyond the way that they should be punishing them?
I believe for those who misuse their opportunity as teachers to teach, so I feel they have to be punished as well. So there has to be some sort of a rule that is there. For instance, for every right there is a responsibility. So for every right teachers have, there has to be a responsibility as well as a consequence. So as much as they have the right to hit children, they must know there is a consequence if you are misusing that right. Thank you.
I'm going to pose the same question to another then as well. Why do you think that corporal punishment should be brought back to our schools?
I think corporal punishment should be brought back to our schools because when you look at the behavior of the learners, it has changed a lot. And so I think if corporal punishment can be back to our schools, most learners will see that it is a good thing for them to behave when they are inside school premises, and also they will be able to respect teachers the way they should be, because they are not respecting teachers simply because they know that even if they do wrong things, nothing is going to be done to them, because you find that there are students who are also smoking dacha inside school premises simply because they know very well that teachers won't beat them. So I believe corporal punishment should be back to schools.
Now you heard it from yourself, from some of the learners as well as some of the parents who said that corporal punishment should be implemented and should be brought back to our schools. Now when we spoke to the parents earlier on, they also said that government also needs to revisit its policy when it comes to this particular implementation of this particular rule. Like I mentioned earlier on, that parents parents as well as teachers have gathered in Inanda to try and discuss this. And as a way forward, they are also going to invite government departments from the Department of Education and more or less sit down with them and see as to how they can get this role back into our schools.